Waking up after burnt-cellar, Democrat presidential candidate Bernie Sanders kicked off the caucus eve with a visit to a field office in eastern Iowa. Sanders' morning event to get out the vote in Cedar Rapids came after an evening. The campaign saw the biggest crowd of any Iowa event of any candidate this cycle. Now appearing the next morning at the nearby field office in Cedar Rapids, Sanders convened the campaign workers, the volunteers and also other supporters to boost them before they fanned out to the area to get out and go and campaign for the votes. And yesterday, before the Iowa caucuses, Democratic presidential hopeful Elizabeth Warren made her final push before a crowd in Indianola. The event was at capacity, forcing Warren to address supporters in the lobby before she took the main stage. Devin McCaughan is a long-time Warren supporter. Warren told supporters that she was unable to stay for her signature selfie line in order to get to more campaign events, but left her dog Bailey behind in her place. The Democrat presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar played up her Midwestern roots during a campaign stop in Cedar Rapids on the eve of the Iowa caucuses. She introduced herself to the crowd as the granddaughter of an iron ore miner, as the daughter of a teacher and a newspaperman, as the first woman elected to the U.S. Senate from the state of Minnesota, and also a candidate for the President of the United States. The Klobuchar's campaign has seen larger crowds and increased enthusiasm in recent weeks. So the Israeli forces have attacked the northern Gaza Strip as rounds of cross-border fire continue over the weekend. Now, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, the airstrike was launched in retaliation for a rocket launch that was launched, according to claims, from the Gaza Strip in the direction of Israel. Now, there have been no reports of any casualties so far. The strikes followed successive rounds of cross-border fire from Gaza and also the alleged retaliation by the Israeli forces. More than 200 Lebanese and Palestinians held a protest near the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. The protest was... The protests are continuing in Iraq despite the appointment of new Prime Minister Mohammad Tawfiq Alawi. Hundreds of Basra University students took to the city streets chanting slogans against Iraq's new Prime Minister designate. The students have long said that they will not accept a candidate chosen by the establishment. They also erected portraits of the new Premier designate crossed with an X as a sign of rejection, while some chanted Alawi out. The rallies also took place in the capital city and other parts of Iraq. The protesters also issued a statement saying that they completely reject Alawi's selection. But there now seems to be a major breakthrough in treating novel coronavirus. Now, doctors in Thailand claim that they may have found a curative drug for the virus. The Thailand's health ministry has said that a Chinese woman infected with the virus showed some dramatic improvement after being treated with a cocktail of the antivirals. These antivirals are generally used to treat flu and maybe even HIV. In the ministry's briefing, Thai doctors said that 71-year-old patient had tested negative for the virus just 48 hours after the drug was administered to her. The doctors said that they were awaiting research results to prove the effectiveness of the drug. The The world's richest man and Amazon chief Jeff Bezos has now been sued for defamation by his girlfriend's brother. The sibling of Lauren Sanchez, Michael Sanchez, has accused Jeff Bezos of falsely claiming that Lauren's brother had provided those explicit photographs to the National Enquirer. Now, Jeff Bezos had accused Michael Sanchez of revealing his affair with Lauren Sanchez to the National Enquirer last year. Now, these old mansions are amongst the last vestiges of the Jewish history in northern Iraq. Jewish families reportedly lived there before they migrated to Israel some 70 years ago. Now, the area's synagogue is now a mosque. The houses are still the property of the state and cannot be bought or sold, and the government rents them to the local Kurds. Now, the Jewish community had been one of the most active and influential communities in Iraq, and most of the members of the Jewish community in Iraq migrated to Israel in the 1950s. The police in London have said that the man who strapped on a fake bomb and stabbed 2 people on a street in London before being shot down by the police was recently released from prison, where he was serving a sentence over terrorism-related offences. Deputy Assistant Commissioner Lucy Diorsi has said late on Sunday that police are confident that the attacker was a 20-year-old Sudesh Aman, and he was shot dead by the police following the attack in Streatham in South London. A small company outside of Boston aims to lead to effort to replace the artificial chemicals with natural silk protein in both skincare products and textiles. Artificial ingredients such as parabens, which are used to prolong the shelf life of a skincare product, have been linked to hormone and fertility damage. The formaldehyde is also used as a preservative in skincare products, is a known carcinogen. The formaldehyde is also an additive that is used on some clothing to prevent wrinkles and stains. Evolved by nature, based in Medford, Massachusetts, is applying modern biotechnology to centuries-old silk to create activated silk. The millions of Americans suffering from the winter doldrums can brighten up this weekend as the weather forecast is looking good, at least for the thousands relying on the annual prediction of groundhog Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania. The annual Groundhog Day event at the Gobbler's Knob is for checking whether winter will last for 6 more weeks or will spring come early, based on whether or not the dog sees his own shadow after appearing from his winter den. The Groundhog Day event was made popular in the 1993 film comedy Groundhog Day, which starred Bill Murray.
Of his faithful early spring, ladies and gentlemen.
The hundreds of migrants on board the Open Arms rescue ship celebrated after the Italian authorities granted the vessel port access to disembark. Now, migrants were seen applauding and cheering after a crew member announced that they will be disembarking at the southern Italian port of Pozzallo. The boat, carrying about 363 migrants rescued in 5 different operations in recent days, had been repeatedly denied permission to dock by both Italy and Malta. Italian authorities, however, have granted the boat permission to enter the Sicilian port of Pozzallo late on Saturday. The tourists in India's northern Himalayan desert region of Ladakh were seen reveling in the ice climbing festival on Sunday, organized by the joint efforts of Ladakh Mountaineering Guide Association and the Himalayan Institute of Alternate Ladakh. This is the first of its kind program in the region. Organizers say that this is an effort to boost winter tourism in the newly formed Union territory and to motivate the local youth in joining adventure sports. The world's tallest building lit up in tribute of the late NBA basketball star Kobe Bryant. Tourists and fans saw the minute-long tribute to the player. A picture of Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna filled the tower. Bryant, the 18-time All-Star who won 5 NBA championships and became one of the greatest basketball players of his generation during a 20-year career, died in a helicopter crash on the 26th of January.